The wine goblet slipped from Lirael Voss's trembling fingers and crashed across King Aelric Thorne's chest, soaking his royal cloak in deep crimson. Gasps rippled through the grand hall of Elyndor. Nobles froze mid-conversation, their jeweled eyes wide with shock. I'm so sorry, Your Majesty," Lirael whispered, dropping to her knees instantly, her heart hammering against her ribs. She was just a human servant. One mistake could cost her everything. King Aelric stared down at her. For a long second, the entire court held its breath, waiting for his wrath. Instead, he raised a hand, silencing the rising outrage. "Enough," he said, his voice low but commanding. He reached down and helped her up himself. Their fingers brushed, and something electric passed between them. Lirael's breath caught. His touch was warm, far warmer than a Fae King's should be. "You're shaking," he murmured, only she could hear. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, too stunned to speak. His golden eyes locked onto hers with an intensity that made her knees weak. No one had ever looked at her like that, like she actually existed. Before she could apologize again, he waved her away gently. "Go. Breathe." Lirael fled into the servant corridors, her mind spinning. Why hadn't he punished her? Why had his touch lingered? That night, unable to sleep in her tiny cottage in Briarthorn, Lirael tended her small garden under moonlight. The village was quiet, but her thoughts were loud. She kept replaying the king's eyes. A soft footstep made her freeze. "You work too hard for someone so young," a deep voice said from the shadows. She spun around, clutching her small trowel like a weapon. A tall man in a dark traveler's cloak stepped into the light. His face was partially hidden, but those same golden eyes gleamed. "You," she breathed. "How did you find me?" King Aelric, disguised, gave a small smile. "I wanted to make sure you were all right after the feast." "May I sit?" Lirael hesitated, then nodded. They sat on the wooden bench beside her garden. "I've never seen a king help a servant," she said quietly. "Most would have had me whipped." "I'm not most kings," he replied. His voice carried centuries of weariness. "Tell me your name." "Lirael Voss." "Lirael," he repeated, as if tasting it. A beautiful name for someone who carries herself with such quiet strength. "Why do you work in the palace if it frightens you?" She laughed bitterly. "Because humans have no choice here. My mother died in debt. This is how I survive." She looked at him. "Why are you really here, traveler?" He was silent for a moment. "Because when you spilled that wine, I felt something I haven't felt in a very long time. Alive." Lirael's heart raced. They talked for hours. She told him about her lonely nights, her dreams of seeing the world beyond Elyndor's borders. He listened like no one ever had, sharing fragments of his own burdens, the weight of ruling, the loneliness of immortality, the fear that power had hardened his heart beyond repair. By the time he left, promising to return, Lirael's cheeks were warm and her pulse wouldn't slow. The next few nights blurred into stolen moments. He came as the traveler every evening. They walked by the river, their shoulders brushing. "Do you ever wish you could leave all this?" Lirael asked one night, skipping stones across the water. "Every day," he admitted. "But a king doesn't get to wish. He carries." He turned to her, voice softening. "But with you, I forget the crown for a while. You see me, Lirael. Not the king. Just the man." Her eyes filled with tears. "And you see me. No one ever has." He reached out, gently wiping a tear from her cheek. The touch sent fire through her veins. "I can't stop thinking about you," he confessed, voice rough with emotion. It terrifies me. Lirael stepped closer. Then don't stop. Their hands intertwined. The air grew thick with tension. She could feel the pull, the dangerous escalation of feelings that threatened to consume them both. But on the fourth night, everything changed. Royal guards stormed the village, searching for the missing king. Lirael watched from her window as they approached her cottage. Heart pounding, she rushed outside and found him waiting. "You're him," she whispered, voice breaking. "You're King Aelric." He didn't deny it. "Yes." Pain flashed across her face. "You lied to me. Every night. Was this some game? Toying with a human girl for amusement?" "No." He grabbed her hands, desperation in his eyes. "Lirael, listen to me. That first night at the feast, something in me woke up. I disguised myself because I needed to know you without the crown between us. These nights with you, they've been the most real moments of my long life." Tears streamed down her cheeks. "We can't do this. A king and a human servant? The laws." "Forget the laws," he said fiercely, pulling her close. "For the first time in centuries, I feel everything when I'm with you." Their foreheads touched. Breathing ragged. Emotions crashed over them like a storm. "I'm scared," she whispered. "So am I," he replied. "But I'd rather burn with you than live cold forever." The storm broke overhead that same night, rain pouring as they stood inside her small cottage. Lightning flashed, illuminating the raw emotion on both their faces. Lirael pushed away slightly, chest heaving. "This is madness. If anyone finds out, they'll kill me. Or worse, banish me from everything I know." King Aelric stepped forward, refusing to let distance grow between them. "Then let me protect you. I've spent hundreds of years ruling alone. Empty. But you make me want to tear down every wall I've built." His voice cracked with rare vulnerability. "Tell me you don't feel it too. Tell me to leave, and I will." She couldn't. The words died in her throat. Instead, she surged forward and kissed him. The kiss was desperate, passionate, full of all the longing they had bottled up. His hands cupped her face as if she were the most precious thing in his kingdom. She clutched his cloak, pouring every fear, every spark of hope into him. Rain hammered the roof while inside, their hearts thundered together. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. "I never wanted this," she said, voice trembling with emotion. "But now I can't imagine letting you go." "Nor I you," he replied, resting his forehead against hers. "You've become my silent flame, Lirael. The one light I cannot ignore." But reality crashed back quickly. A loud knock sounded at the door. Guards shouted outside. "They're looking for you," she whispered urgently. Elric's face hardened with conflict. "I must return. But this isn't goodbye." He pulled a glowing starflower from his cloak and pressed it into her palm. "Keep this. It will never fade, just like what I feel for you." Tears filled her eyes again. "Promise me you'll be careful." "I promise." He kissed her once more, softly this time, full of aching tenderness. Then he slipped out into the storm. Lirael watched from the doorway as he disappeared into the mist toward the glowing palace. She clutched the starflower to her chest, heartbreaking and healing at the same time. The connection had been brief, forbidden, and impossibly deep. Yet it had changed her forever. Days turned into weeks. Lirael returned to her duties in the palace, now carrying a secret that burned inside her. She caught glimpses of King Aelric on his throne, their eyes meeting across the hall with hidden intensity. Each glance was a conversation of its own, full of longing, promise, and quiet pain. One evening, as she served in the gardens, he found a private moment with her behind blooming hedges. "I dream of you every night," he confessed, voice low and urgent. "The crown feels heavier knowing you're so close yet untouchable." Lirael's eyes shimmered. "And I count every second until I see you again. Even if it's only like this." "But Aelric, we're playing with fire." "Then let us burn together," he whispered fiercely. "I would risk everything for more time with you." Their hands touched briefly, sending sparks through both of them. The escalation of their emotions was undeniable now, love, fear, hope, and defiance all tangled together. In the end, Lirael stood once more at her cottage door in Briarthorn, the starflower still glowing brightly in her garden. Dawn broke over Elyndor, painting the sky in soft hues. She touched her lips, remembering his kiss, and whispered to the wind. "Some flames are meant only to burn brightly for a moment, but their light can last forever." If you enjoyed this emotional journey between a hidden servant and the untouchable Fae King, please subscribe for more heartfelt fantasy stories, like this video, and comment below. What did you feel during their forbidden kiss?